Well, longtime immigration advocate State Senator Harry Coates says the lack of a guest worker program in Oklahoma is hurting business. Coates says the current oil boom has pulled many workers away from minimum wage jobs in Oklahoma's smaller communities for much higher paying jobs with oil companies. And Coates believes having a guest worker program in place would allow those business owners wanting for workers to be able to fill those positions. With more, here's Courtney Dehoff.
It's estimated that nearly 12 million undocumented workers now live in the United States, but a growing number of states, including Oklahoma, are passing more stringent anti-immigration laws, which, according to some in Oklahoma's business community, has hurt our economy. When Oklahoma lawmakers passed the most comprehensive immigration reform in the nation,
I declare the same to have passed.
It was met with considerable reluctance.
This bill is a sham.
The truth of the matter is there is not an available pool of labor to replace the immigrant worker in Oklahoma.
There's not one word in this bill that's going to remove.
And those fears are still alive and well today.
What has happened in Oklahoma as a result of House Bill 1804 that we passed a few years ago was driving away a willing workforce.
Senator Harry Coates is one of a growing number of lawmakers wanting to revise Oklahoma's immigration law, saying it's bad for business.
You're killing us up there. You're killing us. 1804 drove out a willing workforce that did those jobs that required a lot of physical labor, and that was in landscaping, construction typically, and mostly in road building and home building and commercial construction. You have to have a certain number of people to do the things that machines cannot do. The medium and high skilled employees aren't going to do those jobs. There's plenty for them to do. There is not a willing workforce in today's economy, today's time, to take those low-tier jobs.
Coates says jobs that our neighbors to the south have absorbed, ultimately taking business away from Oklahoma.
We drove them across the Red River to go to work for Texas companies that don't care about our laws. Those companies freely come back across the Red River and compete with Oklahoma contractors that don't have a workforce now and take our jobs from us.
But the author of Oklahoma's immigration bill, Randy Terrell, disagrees.
The business organizations who are defending their ability to exploit and subjugate an entire group of people are not being good corporate citizens. That's what it boils down to. And listen, they make these arguments which are disingenuous, that these are folks who are here performing jobs that no American wants to do. And my question to you would be, how insulting is that? The reality is that there is no job that an American citizen is not willing to do. They're just not willing to do it at the wage rates and non-existent benefit levels that are being paid to illegal aliens to do that work. And these folks who, again, have profited quite handsomely in many cases from this abundance of cheap illegal alien labor conveniently overlook the fact that we live in a competitive free market economy, and that in the absence of this cheap illegal alien labor, that wage rates and benefit levels will adjust up to the point that there will be an abundance of U.S. citizen workers who are more than happy to perform those jobs.
But Oklahoma Farm Bureau's Mike Spradling says there are certain jobs that, put plain and simply, Americans just don't want to do. And without immigrant workers who are willing to get dirty, we may find our dinner tables more sparse without the fruits of their labor.
Certainly there's a lot of people out of work, but they're not willing to do the work that's required in harvest of crops, fruits and vegetables that we all across this nation. It's very time sensitive. We have to not only have the people willing to do the work, we have to have them at a very specific point in time. So all these things have to come together in order to keep us from, again, potentially putting at risk that anywhere from $5 to $9 billion of our product.
Raising a simple question.
Why do we want to do that to our economy? There are plenty of jobs. Plenty of jobs. Why not let this immigrant workforce take the jobs we don't want to do? Get them out of the shadows. Allow them to pay their taxes. Allow them to have their immediate families here where they can care for them and don't have to live in fear of them getting deported. Allow businesses to treat them fairly, complete the contracts that they're required to complete, and let's all enjoy the fruits of everyone's labor at every stage.